Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. So in today's video I wanted to share the knowledge I have on carb loading and the different strategies that I used to carb load effectively. So carb loading is an effective tool for endurance athletes who wants to optimize their performance on race day. If we use a well put together carb loading strategy, we are able to increase our carbohydrate storages with up to 30%. This means that we can carry around significantly more energy than normal, which is preferred when we show up on race day. Carb loading is a popular method among endurance athletes to optimize their energy storages up until race day. Carbohydrates is an important source in the body's production of energy. Related to most forms of physical training, our body uses stored carbohydrates to produce energy. Our body stores the carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, and in need of sugar in the blood, our body converts glycogen into glucose, which is sugar, and then sends it into the blood. So carb loading is actually just a natural method to increase the amount of glycogen in our body above our normal level. When carb loading, athletes are usually increasing their carbohydrate intake up to 5 to 10 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight daily. This means that a person of 70 kilograms could consume between 350 and 700 grams of carbohydrates daily. The most usual time to begin the carb loading strategy is about 3 days before race day. This means, for an example, if I was racing on Sunday, I would begin my carb loading strategy on Thursday. I would personally begin the Thursday with the last training session before the race. Hereafter, I wouldn't do any more training before the race on Sunday. The remaining 3 days, I would consume my high carb diet, where about 70% of my calories would be carbohydrates. There is of course plenty of variations of carb loading strategies, both longer lasting and shorter. It is very personal what works the best, and I would recommend you to experiment with different variations so you can find the best strategy for yourself. I have personally only tried a very unstructured carb loading strategy lasting for about a week. For my next race, I will definitely go into it more prepared and plan out the strategy in more detail. I think I'm going to try the strategy starting 3 days before race day. If you're interested in an updated video where I show where I eat, you can comment down below. So to start off, it is important to not be carb loading if it is not necessary. This would only mean that we consume a large amount of carbohydrates without the need for it. It only becomes necessary to carb load if we're doing a longer lasting sports event of at least 90 minutes. I wouldn't either recommend to start introducing new foods or ingredients in your diet doing a carb load. This tip is also for people who isn't carb loading but just preparing for any kind of race. I was actually very conscious about this before my marathon because I wanted to avoid stomach pains. I know how my stomach reacts to certain kind of foods, and I wouldn't take the risk. The days up until a race, I don't want to be walking around with stomach pains or anything like that. It can both hurt my athletic performance and my overall experience. That is why I keep to foods that my body are used to in the week up until race day. Another thing that I focus on is that I'm decreasing my training enough. I know it can be challenging to decrease the intensity enough in the training because I just feel the need to squeeze out the last bit of my training. But I do also understand that if I train too hard during a carb load, I limit my body's ability to store glycogen optimally during the high carb diet. At last, I want to clarify that I do not see carb loading as a free ticket to eat whatever I want. I want to create the best results in the strategy, and therefore I have a very quality focused approach to the food I eat during my carb loading period. I do this by focusing on consuming fast absorbing carbohydrates such as juice, white bread, white rice and fruit. I do not stuff myself with pizza, ice cream, chips and cake, because I know how my body reacts to these types of foods, and it is certainly not an energy boost I get from them. While that is said, I do believe it is also important to nurture the soul a bit, but I would definitely not eat these foods in the last 2 days before a race, just so I can stay 100% ready and get the best results out of my training efforts. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video and got some inspiration in your carb loading strategies or just your normal diet. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And besides that, I want to wish you all a great weekend. Take care.